Yesterday I made a documentary about Gemma, but today I want to make a documentary about Stephanie. Stephanie is a schoolgirl that I used to know at school. Can't say the name of the school, the surname is Stephanie, but I believe for many years that her surname began with H, but I've been told recently the surname begins with a G. Now, as a kid of only about 6, 7, I don't know what age she was, she had that intellectual look and she was wearing glasses. Obviously looks and changed, appearance and intelligence changed as years went on. So there was a couple of people that insulted her and I was wondering why they were. You know, they're only school kids at the time, and I was asking Mark, another friend I had at that school at that time, and he just said because she's small. But I didn't really find it over funny at all. I thought it was a bit of an insult really, because considering at that time she had the intellectual look, I thought that was a very odd thing to say, but that's by appearance. They probably knew her by speech or whatever else, but not my thing to say. I didn't see her for many years. Then someone called David Franklin, which is my dad's ex-partner's boy, who's a couple of years younger than me, knew her and got in a relationship with her in 2003 area. Also, my cousin Jason Dando has also been in a relationship with her back in 1997 area, is it? Or a bit after that, I can't remember. I don't really know much about this because I'm not allowed to be told this information. But that's what occurred back at that time. Now, I've never really asked her out, and in the time period I was going to try and ask her out, all my enemies were taking the mickey out of her, saying that she's disabled and being ridiculous, being nasty, being spiteful and all the rest of it. And me trying to act hard and thinking I'm a clever person and want to try and get a nice person as well and whatever, I thought I don't want to get myself looking bad and all the rest of it. And obviously I was a bit more stubborn because I didn't like the way I was being insulted at the back at that time or whatever. So I thought I want to try and get a lady, but a lady that's intelligent and not where people are going to laugh at me or whatever. It turns out in the end that half these people that said this have actually gone with mentally disabled people or have actually quite low intelligence themselves. So I saw her in a charity shop. I went to say alright, but she didn't recognise me. She didn't say nothing at all, in fact. Then someone started on me in that shop, so I decided to leave that shop. And then straight away, suddenly a whole outbreak of threats from the Palace nightclub and so on, where people were saying that I've done this to her, done that to her and whatever, when I haven't. Later on, animal voice sounds were occurring, and animal voice sounds were saying I'd done this and doing that, and saying that I'm going to the fire of hell because I've done this and done that, which is not true. Then we get like setups that I mentioned, like the vertical wordings like the wheel of fire and the rocking donkey, or making the suggestions of violence. But back in that time, the violence suggested is nothing like since after the lockdown 2020 onwards. Because the setups nowadays are much more spiteful, much more malicious than they've ever been before. And the setups are 4 times heavier than they used to be. There's been record-breaking amount of bikes tied to an erection, with nearly 1,000 each and every single day for 6 weeks in one go, without less than 400 and 300 or whatever. You know, with a couple of days. You know, literally this is full on, literally 1,000 bikes almost every day apart from about 4 or 5 days in 6 weeks. That's record-breaking. Anyway, let's skip that. Those threats went on for years and years and years, and it got nastier and nastier and nastier. In 2021, or late 2020, I saw her in a charity shop, and I noticed that her speech was very different to what I was expecting, and sounded pretty normal, to some extent normal. So I said alright to her, and she said, "Can you please sanitize your hands going to the shop?" So I did, yeah. I went to say alright to her, she just ignored me, and so on. And I thought nothing much of it. They closed the shop down, so I thought that's the end of that. I recently visited Bridgewater again recently. By the way, I saw her a couple of times, so I didn't really speak on the other times because she just turned away and ignored me. Because obviously she's got a boyfriend. The boyfriend occurred in a time period when enemies were taking the mickey out of me back in 2006 to 2008 area. Anyway, I saw her again recently, I went to say all right to her, and she thought I was Savan. So something along the line, or somewhere along the line, someone's caused trouble and turned her against me. And either way, considering she's almost 40, because she's not much younger than me, I mean, about 4 years, something like that, difference in age, something like that. I'm not exactly sure the actual age of her, but in the past, when I was younger, they were actually giving me trouble over that 4-year age gap or whatever it was at that time. So she does look quite sexy. She's still got smooth skin considering she's 40. Very smooth skin, more like someone in their early 20s. But most people that have a healthy lifestyle or whatever do look like that. I've known people up to the age of about 60 to still have that type of skin looking sexual appearance, though it's not very often these days because people are not so healthy anymore, and you get that munter looking with most people now, and that's not the type I go for. And incidentally, I'm being told to go with this Lisa. Basically, I'm not allowed to say the surname on that specific person because it causes a little bit of trouble, but she's not very good attraction at all, and obviously I don't fancy her. And just to go a little bit further, I wanted to do a SADIE documentary as well, which is SADIE Dando, but I can give the name, but for reasons including police or whatever else, I can't make that documentary because it's not allowed to go on the internet. But the simple thing is, I've never had enjoyment with her, or I've never done this or never done that with her. And as it actually stands, I don't believe that that side of the family are actually against me like they used to be. So they're not friends as such, but they have nothing against me. So if I saw them, they'd say all right or stuff like that. So it's like bygones, but not, you know, hard to say, but there's no problem. So if I saw Sadie in the street, she'd probably say all right, and that's about it. It's on a level where it's like that, but no more than that. And obviously I'm going to be doing a Wayne documentary again. That's going to be quite a hard one to do, but it will explain the issues of the past and try and explain to you that I've not had anyone in my whole life and whatever else, and how things have worked. And then obviously we're going to mention that Jeanette prostitute who deliberately scammed me to make money out of me, and then later tried to get someone to attack me and beat me up, to have me K'd down with a weapon. But anyway, as it goes with the Stephanie documentary, I'll leave it there, and thanks for listening.